Man, we're going to have a lot of fun tonight in Vancouver, all my real fans.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Elias Pettersson, man. Yes, Elias Pettersson. He does not fear Canada, which is big. So much so that he's down to stick around with still a lot of uncertainty in front of him, right? We're still the Vancouver Canucks for 8 more years. That's a blessing, man. For real, Pettersson, not afraid of Canada and not really caring about the money, too. It's a good day to be a Canucks fan. Let's talk about it on Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Kyle Bowen. That right there, if you're on YouTube, is my dog Loki. Speaking of my dog, Trevor Baggs, he may join us in 10 minutes, 20 minutes, who knows? Okay, sorry about the delay. We were trying to make a workout with Trevor. It didn't happen at this time of the conversation. May happen, who knows? I don't think we need him because all we need is more Elias Pettersson news. And I don't think the news stops here. I think there's more coming. More on that in a couple of minutes. Anyways, again, this is Locked On Canucks. Brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, for real. They got that culture, right? They got that message. I think Hindus call it hms. If you know, you know. What do they say? They say it's your team every day. I like to say it's your Canucks every day. That's the only team that matters. Speaking of which, this show also brought to you by the Don't Dose Art Lab. That West Coast buys is the only thing that matters. EP40 signing up for that West Coast buys for 8 years. 11.6 million per. We'll talk about that when it matters. But 8 years. 8 years. Think about that. Think about me being wrong again. Not too long ago, I was content with him possibly signing for 4, doing what Austin Matthews did. Someone who clearly, isn't as Canadian as Elias Pettersson. Anyways, that 4-year deal, it looked appealing. Let's just get that done. It's all good. He's deserved it. I let go of the possibility of an 8-year thing with Pettersson being a thing. And look at that. It happened. That's value. That's hope. And that's having one of the best players in hockey who is going to get a lot better. Be a part of your organization for a very long time. 8 years is not 3 years. It's not 4 years. It's not 5. It's not 6. It's 8 years. Look at James. It feels like Christmas this morning. Speaking of which, 7 a.m. Why do you think they did that? I know why. I'm assuming, but I know why, okay? This was the noisiest week in a very long time for the Vancouver Canucks. Felt as noisy as the Bruce Boudreau thing. And the Canucks announce it on a Saturday morning at 7 a.m. So, tell the people, tell the talkers, the podcasters, the reporters, the tweeters, the journalists, the storytellers. They tell them that if you want this, work for it. Work for it. Be ready. You caused us a lot of distraction, quote unquote. Well, part of the noise, again, sharing on both sides, right? The Canucks and the media and the fans. But you created all that noise, and now it's our turn to make it a little noisier for you at 7 a.m. Announcing the biggest contract in team history. That was a moment I'll never forget. And kudos to the Canucks for sticking by their guy, right? Elias Pettersson. doing that for him. I feel as if they probably had a really good chuckle about that. Look at Red Risotto, okay? People slam the like button, helps people find the live feed. Dude, sure, we could have more people here, but I'm more than content with you and you and you and you and you and you. Because look at this, okay? Saturday afternoon, talking about a steal of a deal for Elias Pettersson and your Vancouver Canucks. Again, not afraid of Canada. Am I the only one that's loving that? Remember Ryan O'Reilly? Close your eyes. Visual of that hockey player. Look at the way he looks and look at what he said about Canada in July. I know more notably Toronto, but in general, you know what I'm saying? I'm making it harder and harder based on the narrative created by guys like that Canada is not the place to be in the NHL. Rewind 12 months before that, 13 months before that, Tkachuk gets out of Calgary. You got some of that Dubois noise, right? Blah, blah, blah. It's all there for Canada having a tougher time making their players stay. Players that would be desirable and target number one for the 31 other teams. But here's Pettersson not having to sign an 8-year deal in Canada, but does so. Making that point, for the meantime, not true. Or maybe it's just the case for Vancouver. Screw Canada. Screw the rest of the teams. And maybe Vancouver are those guys and are going to be those guys for quite some time. You know, a contender living and playing in the most beautiful city in the world. Again, making that place super desirable. Look at the organization. Look at some of the faces they have pressing the buttons now, okay? The Vancouver Canucks are cool again. $11.6 million. Unreal. What was the first comment in this live chat? It's the one that matters, okay? JS, go Canucks, go. Again, big day, big day. Infamous. One love to the comments saying what? Congrats, Canucks and Pettersson, LFG. I got to work on my reading, dude. Did a book just come out written by Daniel Wagner and maybe assisted by the hands of Dan Murphy talking about the NHL draft and the one that happened involving Elias Pettersson? Am I right on that? I think I saw that on X or Twitter. That would be a cool way to get back into reading. Again, Pettersson signs an 8-year deal, go back in time, and he was just the 5th overall pick, a special player, a high-end prospect, but just a 5th overall pick. And quickly, he's become that guy. Look at Mr. Whale, okay? Trevor is our dad that never shows up. Wow. Dude, I know. But you know what? He's the second best dad in the world, and he's doing it for his family right now. And maybe we'll see him. Who knows? Dan Jardine, okay? He's saying that $47 million is in signing bonuses. Is this true? I don't know. I'm not a stat guy, okay? I'm just Kyle Bowen. But I heard a lot of talk about these signing bonuses, right? And players just wanting those right away in their contracts. Makes a lot of sense, right? A, it's in front of you, and the uncertainty. And for a guy like Pettersson, I think this guy deserves all of it because he plays different, man. He's not William Nylander. This guy's a physical player who also gets targeted a lot. You know, we talked a lot. Well, I didn't say it, but you and you, some of you were talking about Pettersson, you know, falling down a lot and falling down some more. You could have your own narratives on why that happens, but one clear reason why that happens is because he's targeted a lot. He's one of those guys. He's also a low-key, chippy player. He plays physical too, which puts that target on his back a little bit bigger. He's different. All in all, a lot of contact his way, and those signing bonuses are important. But that number, 11.6, man, are you serious? How'd that happen? What was I saying weeks and weeks and weeks ago? Blank check, give him $100 million. Do whatever it takes. This season is for Pettersson. The goal is not the Stanley Cup, because I wasn't thinking about it in September. The goal is to impress Pettersson and get this extension done. That's all I wanted. Unreal. What a turn of events. Look at James telling me that Cat Friendly has all the contract details. Bro, next time I got to go to the washroom, I'll remember this, okay? And I'll do my readings. And look at this one, man. Steven, Horvat sucks, man. Holy. The comments coming in, the energy, man. Elias Pettersson saying, yo, I love Vancouver. I want it for 8 more years. 8. Yo, he could have asked for 4. They would have been happy to do it. He could have asked for 4 and he still would have got a press conference. You know what I'm saying? It would have been fine. Times are changing. Which is the truth, but the location, man, of Elias Pettersson, that location is not changing for 8 years. The lottery, man. Look at Alec, man. What a morning. 7 in the morning. True story, man. I feel bad for my girl, man. I'm going to see my girlfriend tomorrow. I got to cook her a good dinner because I didn't talk to her till what? 11:30. 11:30 today. I'm normally one of the first people I talk to every day, but Elias Pettersson at 7 a.m. says, hello, good morning. How you doing? I got you. I love you. I love you, Vancouver. That's what he said. Speaking about what he said, did everyone watch the press conference? What a feel-good press conference, okay? He was having fun. He was laughing. He was cracking jokes, right? Telling us that he always wanted to stay, but he obviously couldn't tell the people that. I'm paraphrasing now, but he pretty much said this, right? I couldn't say that because you don't want to show all your cards at the negotiation table, right? Alec with another great comment, okay? He looks so happy for a guy who generally doesn't show emotion. I think he protects his emotions, right? Because it wasn't too long ago where he was probably one of our most charismatic players with the media. And even then, man, some people took it out of context and used it as a way to point a finger at him. And I think that made him more shielded, which is okay. Protecting his emotions, man. All in all, I'm just here to see what he does on the ice consistently, and I have no doubt in my mind that he's had a really impressive start to his NHL career under some tough circumstances based on where he played, the pressure, the management, COVID, the management, banning. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He's had a pretty weird situation, a lot of head coaches, yet I feel like he's slowly gotten better and better. He's always been a really good, complete player. Now he's playing a bit more physical, too. He also plays when he's injured, right? Quote, unquote. The guy's tough, real tough. Peter Forsberg tough, for real. It's going to take something like life-threatening to get this guy out of the lineup, right? That's how it feels like. He loves hockey. This is the guy. He doesn't have to give me much with what he tells the media. All in all, just keep getting better at hockey. Help this team win, right? And the commitment to 8 years really tells you that, like he wants to win a Stanley Cup. He really does want to win a Stanley Cup. A lot of players do, but more specifically, he really wants to win it in Vancouver. That's what the 8 years tells you too. He wants to do it. for Vancouver. It's like one of his missions. Again, Elias Pettersson did not have to sign an 8-year deal. Didn't have to happen. And we would have been happy. We would have been doing this. But what did he do? He signed an 8-year deal. Speaking of 8-year deals, Trevor Beggs, I'm going to sign another 80-year deal today with you as being someone who's probably in my top 7 best friends of all time. But again, remember, it's okay. Top 7's a cool list because you're still the number 2 dad in the world, man. That's a lot of accolades. Anyways, Beggsy, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. What a way to start the weekend. Let's go. And, shout out to Albion and Rutherford, the management team of the year, for getting this done, not only unexpectedly, but at a time where the Canucks season is at an all-time low. And yeah, it's been a lot of highs this season. The Canucks, one of the best teams in the NHL, but they pulled this off at a moment where the Canucks have been, as bad as they've been all season. So, I absolutely love the deal. I know a lot of our listeners have been a little hesitant on Pettersson. You see a couple comments, don't pay this guy over $10 million. Look, this is a discount. This is a steal, Kyle. I'm sure you've touched on it already. I know I saw Taj tweet like, oh, he took $1 to $1.5 million less. He took $1 million less. Let's look at it that way. He could have been a $12.5 million player based on his trajectory, based on his value. And Kyle, I'm going to pump my own tires for a second here too, because I have an ego, but a couple months ago, we kind of mentioned, maybe using in the summer, how you look at David Pastrnak as a comparable, and with the cap going up to $87.7 million,
there you go.
that put Pettersson really in that $11.75 million range. And what does he sign for? 11.6 mil. So, right around what we kind of projected for him, but nonetheless a discount because this guy could have taken over 12 million. But I'm freaking stoked, man. Let's go.
Bro, you're one of the smartest guys in the world of hockey, man. I always say it, man. I always say it because you're always like, you say a bunch of stuff, man. You talk a lot of ish, man. Sometimes I just want to punch you in the face, man, because, you're going after my boy sometimes, or, come on, man. But, man, more often than not, I feel like you hit grand slams every, 4 or 5 months. And it's okay, man. Maybe every month. Once in a while. That's okay, man. You can't win the Stanley Cup every year. Straight up. Speaking of the Stanley Cup, again, it feels like such a feel-good, celebratory day. We haven't really had any success recently. You talk about the timing. I got to talk about the timing, too. It's ironic because this is when the team needs Elias Pettersson more than ever. They've lost 6 of 7. They've been struggling for quite some time. 3 regulation wins in their last 15 games. And if you look at their schedule, dude, I think other teams smell blood in the Pacific. They do. They smell a little bit of blood. But look at their schedule. They got the Ducks. And I don't know the order, but I'm pretty sure they got like the Knights, the Kings, the Avalanche, the Jets coming up. This has to end ASAP. And Pettersson is, I would say, at this point, we're talking about the storybook, right? This, what a year. What a year. This fairy tale. This is the time where Pettersson has to be the main character in finding success.
Yeah, and I think you will. Honestly. I hope that the distraction is out of the way now. He's in Vancouver for the long term. I like some of what he said in terms of, Vancouver's a hocky mad market. It reminds him of Sweden. This is the place he's always wanted to be. He said all the right things today, and again, I'm just happy he's in a Canuck long term, and we can again talk about the games, talk about the hockey, not talk about the Elliot Friedman created contract drama.
Whoa, dude, man.
Yeah,
Boom,
I can't
boom.
wait.
Okay, no. You know what? I got to say this, man. And everyone watching this right now live on YouTube, and we'll get this up to all the podcast players too. Let's agree on this. We're emotional people. We got feelings. We were affected this week when it really should have just affected Elias Pettersson. But if David, what's his name? Shout out to the homie. What's his name? David, 4th period. Okay. I don't want to butcher his last name. Okay. Guy's a hardworking guy.
Yeah.
If he's not getting that number wrong about the $12 million offer and tweeting that out, maybe it doesn't get to this point. If Elliot Friedman doesn't report that there's teams offering for Elias Pettersson, maybe we're not getting to this point. If Frank Saravelli's not telling us that they've made strides, we're not getting to this point. If Elliot Friedman is telling us again that Carolina made an offer that made Rutherford and Albion talk to Pettersson, we're not getting to this point. I think he always wanted to be a Vancouver Canuck. He said that at the beginning of this press conference. He just didn't want to show that card. But and honestly, I think he was pretty serious about not doing this until the end of the season. But that noise got to a point where it was going to be somewhat of a distraction for a team that's actually good. It's not a bubble team fighting for the 8th place team. Like, there's a lot of things going on right now, and things have to be clear, not just morally, but also financially too, because the week that's coming up, this is a huge week. A lot may happen. Rutherford, Alvin, they like making moves, and now they kind of know what numbers they have in front of them for years to come.
Yeah, it makes a big difference, and it's funny right now to see some of the sticker shock. I mean, we know it's a discount, but looking at some stats in terms of full value on their contracts, I believe Elias Pettersson has the fourth most salary owed to him in the NHL right now, which is kind of crazy to think about. But you get that. I'm just so happy that the Canucks got this done, and I do wonder what's next, right? I heard that Satyar Shore bomb from 650 how.
Whoa.
He doesn't think the Canucks are going to pay Hronek over $8 million, which I find interesting. And Hronek's obviously the next big ticket. Let's not look too far ahead. And I think you look at Pettersson, and he did take a little less to stay here. I don't know if Hronek's going to do the same, but
he will.
The Canucks are trying to build a winner. They're trying to build a winner. Yeah, okay. I like your optimism, man. I like your optimism.
He will.
What do we know about Hronek? He hasn't talked to the media since he got here.
It doesn't matter. Yo, you know what you know about Hronek? You go back to last week. You see how the bench reacted when they won in overtime when Hronek wasn't even on the ice. He was on the bench, and people were celebrating with him rather than jumping off and celebrating with Besser. This guy knows, man. I think this team is really close. I also think this team knows that a guy like Pettersson has been at points either battling through something mentally, but also physically too. Like, this guy's a baller. If this guy's willing to take a pay cut after playing injured, putting up the points, been here for a while, been through the BS too, I think that sets the tone for a guy like Hronek to do the same, bro. It's hard to win in the NHL. It's also like, dude, it's it's hard to find a better place to play. Look at the weather right now, but it's beautiful. If the team is good, it's hard to find a better place to play in the NHL. Like, Vancouver's an appealing place when they're winning, and now they're locking up some of the best players in hockey. And if you look at it, like, they're set up to have Miller, Demko, Hughes, and Pettersson for like a long stretch of life. Dude, he's an RFA as well. If they don't want to pay him over $8 million, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's going to need it to stay here, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. And again, let's hope that's the case, because Hronek's gone through a bit of a rough stretch recently, like a lot of other Canucks, but he's still arguably the second best defenseman in franchise history, man. This guy's a great hockey player. It's unbelievable. But yeah, with the Pettersson contract, man, I'm so stoked. I'm so happy this got done. And the fact that it's 8 years too. There's some chatter, again, Elliot Friedman at the forefront of it, but there's some chatter that maybe it's 5, maybe it's 6 years, right? So that you can get to age 29, 30 and still sign another big contract. Now Pettersson's got a contract that's going to pay him to 33. I like to think he's still got probably one in the bag, maybe not 8 years long, but it's funny. You look at these star players, and they almost all sign 8-year deals except for Austin Matthews. And I don't know, man. To me, that says something about the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, Austin Matthews is thinking about Austin Matthews. He's trying to cash in, trying to do the best for him, even though he's going to be a nine-figure millionaire, man. Like, it's like, how much does money matter at the end of the day? So again, I'm stoked that Pettersson actually signed for 8 years and not just. Well, 5,
I don't
6
think
years.
it's like, I don't think it's just a money thing. Like, it's also like money, location, and like, you're right, just like different scenarios and whatnot. Austin signs for what, like 4 years or whatever? What was it? 4 years and a lot of money? Like,
yeah, well, it was 5. I think both were 5-year contracts, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so then, and then I brought this up earlier. Like, Pettersson could have signed the same thing. He could have done the same thing, and we would have been happy as hell. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, more on that in a couple minutes. I'm gonna shout out eBay Motors here and just regroup with Trevor. We'll finish off the show with more comments. You're listening to Locked On Canucks again. Vancouver signs Elias Pettersson, 8 years, a very long time. AKA Elias Pettersson, not afraid of Canada. AKA, bro, this guy wants to win a Stanley Cup and have success in Vancouver, let alone in the NHL. That's one of our guys. Again, you're listening to Locked On Canucks.
eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts to choose from for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Woo! Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash, baby. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. And eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Guarantee Fit only available to U.S. customers.
Man, we're going to have a lot of fun tonight in Vancouver, all my real fans.
Okay, we back here on Locked On Canucks. My name is Kyle Bowen, and that right there is Trevor Beggs. All over the place, feeling away. Obviously, I stepped out into the sun, 20 minutes ago to take a break before this, and it's a hell of a day, man. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't think I've felt this Vancouver in a very, very long time. Hey, for doing that, and we're feeling Vancouver, we got to talk about the moment, and right now, someone is telling me, Mr. Whale, he told me this in the Discord too, link in the bio if you want to win a couple tickets to a Vancouver Canucks game against the Kings, March 25th. Again, link in bio, join the Discord, blah, blah, blah. Mr. Whale saying that we should probably talk about this Tyler Myers injury. Do we bring Wu up? Beggsy, how much time do you have today? Like, we don't know what we're even doing. So I can't answer that unless you answer the question I just gave you.
Yeah, man, maybe let's chat for another 5-10 minutes and get out of here. Keep it at half an hour. Keep the ups happy.
Okay, you know what? We're not going to talk about Myers. Trevor, any more thoughts on Pettersson? Again, are you what did you? I don't know if you listened to the press conference. You've been a busy guy. Conclude this episode. Give us the conclusion. What are your feelings, man? Spill it out. I've been spilling out the whole time, man. Pettersson staying in Vancouver for 8 years. This is a surprise. It feels good. You know the situation. Last year, 12 months ago, it was Operation not win the Stanley Cup. It was Operation sign Elias Pettersson. You know what I'm saying? We weren't even thinking about that. And that happened, and it happened for 8 years when a week ago, it felt like it might not happen. A couple days ago, you know what I'm saying? It's been all over the place. How are you feeling overall?
I'm feeling ecstatic. I'm feeling a little surprised, a little overwhelmed. Maybe it's not the right word, but this last week's been a whirlwind, man. We talked about it. It's been a bizarre set of circumstances that got us here. And, I kind of tooted my own horn for saying that, I kind of predicted around 11.75. I thought it could easily have been over 12. Ends up being 11.6. So, you and I were in the ballpark, Kyle. What I didn't think was going to happen was that he was going to sign before the end of the season. I did not think that was going to happen. I think I said on the show a few months back, quote, I'd be shocked if he signed during the season because I kind of just believed the guy that he wanted to focus on the season. He was going to bet on himself, pull an Aaron Judge. So I'm surprised that he got here. And honestly, he only got here because of the brass balls, almost swore, the brass balls on Alvin and Rutherford to say, hey, we could trade you. We could trade you. And then he says, okay, let's negotiate. Like just a wild set of circumstances. It has happened in the NHL before. We've talked about it. It happened with Alex Burrows. And, when Burrows signed that deal at a discount, not as big as Pettersson's, obviously, ended up turning himself into a legend in Vancouver. I think the same thing's going to happen with Elias Pettersson. He's already a legend in this market, but we're going to get him onto a real level of legendary status because he's going to make some big plays in the playoffs, which has just been too few and far between in this city. So I can't wait to watch Pettersson play the rest of his career in Vancouver. And I especially can't wait to have this guy help the Canucks win their first Stanley Cup. Yeah,
let's do it ASAP too. And that number 11.6. I mean, bro, there's a 50% chance that this guy, he's a special player, man. He's a special player. Really, really good. Even when he's not good, he's picking up points. He's doing something. He's contributing to success. There's a good chance that next year he's a 125-point player, 130-point player. When he's just firing, there's a real good chance that after the summer, he's a lot stronger. He's only 25 years old. And he's already proven so much in tough circumstances. I'm with you on that. I think, he's en route to be, beyond legendary, If the way we want to look at it's immortal, straight up.
Woo!
You bring a cup to Vancouver and you do it within these 8 years. Again, Elias Pettersson did not have to sign for 8 years. the Canucks, bro, they haven't even played a playoff. They haven't even done it all yet, and he's willing to maybe wait on being impressed more just to lock it in, make Vancouver better now, ease the fan base, but more notably, capitalize on the moment and let your team, again, understand what numbers they're working with. That's a selfless act. Like, I think that had a lot to do with it. This dude's a competitive guy. And he knew that, bro, if I wait this thing out longer in this moment while these boys are battling with me, like, I'm kind of holding them back. He thought about the team first. He thought about Vancouver first. And he did so by telling us, I want to do this for 8 years. I want to bring a cup to Vancouver. It's a beautiful feeling, man. Trevor, can you read this quote from Matt before you let us go? And just, again, if you have anything else to say, say it. I'm going to sign out here. Kyle Bowen, KYLEBHAWAN. One love to the Don't-Dos Art Lab for doing their thing. Locked On Podcast Network, Instilling the Culture. What a season. Discord. Yes, join the Discord below. And yeah, you entered to win a couple tickets to a Kings game on March 25th. Trevor, take it away.
Yeah, so shout out to Matt Folger, Folger's Coffee. He says, the first time I watched Pettersson was at Young Stars in Penticton. The same day, some nameless legend wrote, quote, "Bro, do your deeks," in a YouTube live chat, and Jason Botchford picked it up. I remember those provies. Yeah, I think a lot about what Jason Botchford would be writing, what he'd be saying about these Canucks right now. Again, forever a legend. We love the guy. Rest in peace, Botch. And let's see what the future holds for Elias Pettersson and these Vancouver Canucks. Like I said, Kyle, I don't think it's cup or bust this season because I think the cup window is just opening up for this team. And Pettersson today, by taking about $1 million less than he probably could have, has helped the team in terms of that cup window being open for maybe a little bit longer. And we'll tease into next week because now that we know the contract, I already did some of the homework, and I was projecting Pettersson to make $12+ million just to stress test what the Canucks might be able to do at the deadline, who they may be able to re-sign. But let's have some fun early next week, probably on Monday, looking at the Canucks cap situation, what they may do before the deadline, and what the cap situation looks like going into next season. But shout out to Pettersson. Again, already up there as one of the best Canucks of all time, but let's see some legendary moments in the playoffs, doing it for the city of Vancouver, the Canucks, and the best fans in the entire world. Let's go, baby.
Straight up, man. One love to Pettersson. Shout out to Locked On Canucks. Subscribe, hit the like button. And yo, did we make Pettersson's life tougher over the last week? Do I need to do something good for the world today, man? Oh, man. What a life. Again, Locked On Canucks.
Man, we're going to have a lot of fun tonight in Vancouver, all my real fans.